Yeah,
Welcome, Rob, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about the Night Eternal, this new album, Fatal, and more things relating to the metal world. By the way, this last album is an amazing one. I love this
thank
one.
you.
Perhaps so. Let's start with I think with a common question: how has the band been through the last 2 years? Because your first album, Moonlit Cross, was released in 2021. 2 years
Mhm.
later, we have this Fatal on the platforms, on on physical aspects.
Also, we as a band we're fine. It's a lot to do. We are playing a lot of gigs. In the last 2 years, we played a lot of festivals like the Keep It True, Wacken, Partisan, all the famous German festivals, for example, and also we played some gigs in Spain, in France, and yeah, it's really everything works out really fine, Then after we played those gigs, we entered the studio in, I think it was like in 22. We entered the studio. Yeah, then it took like maybe 6, 7, 8 months to record the album, and yeah, finally then uh, yeah we put it out and had a lot to do, and now I'm really happy that around the end of the year it's not that much to do, but in the new year, in February, we're already going on tour, and yeah, it's also nice to relax some weekends.
Okay. I see that the band had a tremendous takeoff since their first album because I saw you in a lot of magazines and a lot of polls, best of the year of heavy metal. A lot of things happened during the last 2 years since
Mm.
now. Now with this new album, I saw a lot of mention with one of the best record of August of the year, etc., etc. So how do you take this aspect of popularity in the band?
Yeah, we of course we recognize it and we're very happy about it. And also, I'm hearing from a lot of friends of mine that you have a hype, and I'm always like, really, are we having a hype? Because uh, I we have every day we have to do with a band, if it's just make some decisions or or doing a pre-production or organizing some booking things or tour things. And yeah, but of course we recognize it. We all also I especially love to read all the magazines, yeah, and I'm really happy about that. Yeah, we're to find at the top of all the sound checks from the different magazines. Yeah, so yeah, we recognize it, and we are very happy about it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that that is true. So talking about especially for Bobo albums, it's normal that within a heavy metal band, one of the most striking instruments is the voice in general, and
Mhm.
the voice from Ricardo Baum, it's amazing one. So who came with the idea to mix his kind of voice because it's not like like Bruce Dickinson, not like Judas
Yeah,
Priest, very
not
this
the
kind.
typical heavy metal
Yes,
voice.
it's not
Yeah,
a
yeah,
typical one. It's a
absolutely.
typical voice. So who came up with the idea to mix this more, I think, more gospel boys, more, I don't know,
Mm.
more blues boys with the heavy metal stuff?
Mm. Yeah, when we started with the band, we already, of course, knew that Ricardo can sing, and we already knew that his voice is not the typical style of heavy metal voice, but yeah, it was never the question what music to make, but it was sure because also Ricardo all his life he's been listening to heavy metal, yeah, and we were listening to heavy metal, and sure to all other kinds of music, to all kinds of let me say guitar-driven music, yeah, every kinds of rock music, and um, yeah, I think there was not a point where we said, okay, let's mix Ricardo's gospel voice with heavy metal, but it was just yeah, I mean, it's the same, like it always gets written in reviews that he kind of sounds like Glenn Danzig. Yeah. And
Yeah.
okay, Glenn Danzig is also not making the typical heavy metal music, but let's say, yeah, like hard rock, yeah. And also this works out. And I think there are enough bands on this planet who work with this typical heavy metal high pitch scream voice. And yeah, I think it's just for everyone refreshing, yeah, to do this kind of, yeah, let's say sinister dark rock or heavy metal music, not with a typical voice, but with something, yeah, refreshing, new, just to give it, yeah, a new, yeah, a new taste, a new approach, to the classic feeling. And on the other hand, if you consider some bands, we also get always, what is the right word? I don't get it. Verglichen. Let me just have a look.
Okay.
Compared to um, other bands, we already also get compared to, for example, like In Solitude or Unto Others. Yeah, there are also bands that don't have this typical high pitched voice, but also, yeah, let's say rather a rather a dark voice. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, mentioning about this voice from Ricardo, it is normal that Ricardo is now the band's touch of the band's sounds, included with all music. So because as I mentioned, that is how the big heavy metal bands recognize themselves. Because when you spoke about with Iron Maiden, is Bruce Dickinson in front of, talking about Judas Priest is in front of Rob Halford, and many more bands more. So now, do you think that if the Ricardo retires from the Nike Eternal at some point, perhaps on the future, would
Mhm.
would the band lose its main characteristic?
You know, this is a question I cannot answer because I don't know it, and it's not planned that Ricardo retires from the Night Eternal. But in general, what I can say, you are right. Yeah, the main instrument of a band, if it's a heavy metal band, if it's a rock band, or if it's an I don't know, indie pop band, whatever. Always the main character is the voice. Yeah, because you don't get the after you listen to a good song, you won't maybe remember what the guitar played or what kind of rhythms the drummer played, but surely you will remember, if it's a good song, you will remember the melody of the voice, yeah. And on the other hand, you know, there are a lot of examples in the music history, also with rock bands, heavy metal bands, where a singer changed, the singer of a band changed, yeah, and sometimes it worked out, and sometimes it didn't work out, yeah. But I think, yeah, we are far away from retiring, and Ricardo especially, because he's a beast.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Well, talking about now, especially for the sound, well, obviously, Ricardo, guitars, bass, drums, there's our line to create the Ignite Eternal sound. That's why I love the both records. So, I mentioned this because the Night Eternal is one of the very few bands for me that has something very personal. I just included is even in my review say that the Unto Others, Night Demon, Lunar Shadows, and you are the few bands that can characterize with this heavy metal stuff with personal sound in these times. With that we are living in a retro heavy movement that exists for about 5 years, 7 years. That all bands sounds like the old bands, like the new bands. Sorry, the new bands sounds like the old bands, like I mentioned, like the new wave British heavy metal in general. So for you, in general, what needs to do the new bands to create new sounds and don't align with the old bands in general with the sound? Because as you can see, when you see on a magazine dedicated to heavy metal or a YouTube channel dedicated to heavy metal, all bands dress like the 70s or 80s. plays like the 70s or 80s, but now you turn out very different. So for you, what needs to do the heavy metal now to create a different things in to be a part of the old movement of heavy metal?
Okay, you mean what does a new heavy metal band need to do so that they are not just a copy of the
Yes.
80s, but okay, okay. Yeah, in general, I know a lot of people, a lot of musicians who are just listening, for example, to one kind of music. And if you are listening to heavy metal all the day, yeah, if you're listening on Monday, you're listening Maiden, on Tuesday, you're listening to Priest, and then you listen to Saxon, and then you listen to Angel Witch or whatever. Yeah, the music that you will play in the rehearsal room, the music you will play, you will create when you pick up your guitar, yeah, it will always be yeah, a mixture of what you've been hearing the last days, the last time, and I think what is really important to create yeah, interesting music, especially in this very classic genre, heavy metal, is yeah, control your own influences, and not just listen to heavy metal, but pick up every kind of music you can listen to, you like. Yeah, that doesn't mean you have to listen to I don't know, to Chris Brown or Rihanna or something like this. That's not what I mean, but there are a lot of yeah, as I always say, the nice word, there is a lot of guitar-driven rock music around. If it's something from the 70s, like Fleetwood Mac or whatever, or if it's really modern music, like indie rock music. There are a lot of, I love to listen to indie rock myself, and yeah, so I think the important part is to yeah, to mix all the good influences from the music you listen to in something yeah, in something new, in something interesting, and not just copy yeah, uh, those old heroes. Yeah, but on the other side, sure, it's also important to keep up to the traditional, to the traditional heavy metal, but um, yeah, this is like the balance you have to keep. Yeah, on the one side, keep it traditional, because traditional heavy metal is the best. We all know it. And on the other side, give this traditional heavy metal some new, interesting, yeah, spices, whatever. So it's so it keeps getting better, and it keeps uh, being interesting. Huh?
Mm, okay, okay. So another take into the Nike Eternal sound is that you take other influence and know something closer than you. Like when you hear a band from Germany, always a band from Germany sounds like ASAP, some this kind of stuff. So which they call
Mhm.
German heavy metal around the world. So the Teuton heavy metal here. So what
Mhm.
were the main influence to create this new monster called at the Night Eternal, and why didn't you take the influence of the German soul into the heavy metal, because it is one that's very recognized in the world?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I myself like listening to Accept, yeah, but I'm with you that you don't hear that much influence of the music in our music. But for example, when we started the band a few years ago, and I was asked, yeah, how would you describe the sound? And I always said, yeah, um, imagine music which is a mixture between the Scorpions and Tribulation, and put some priest riffs in it. You know, that was always my explanation. So yeah, it's not that much accept in the sound, but we are. I think I can talk for the whole band. We are really fans also of the Scorpions. We like the Scorpions, 70 Scorpions, 80 Scorpions. We like it, and I'm yeah, I'm also a fan of tribulation, for example. So I'd say this typical sound is, yeah, something from the from this dark uh, Sweden heavy metal sound paired with this German 80s heavy rock, and yeah, and a lot of Priest. This is how I would describe this time.
Okay. Okay, another detail that catches my attention is that when we talk about heavy metal in general, there are
Mm,
always other social themes or personal themes that fits perfectly into the lyrics. But when I saw the lyric, when I read the lyrics from the Night Eternal, you
mm,
lean down to the area for occultism, to
mm,
occultism and darkness. So it's a good detail to put into the heavy metal. Now, this for me is very it's a curious thing to see. Obviously, Angel Witch did this kind of aspect at the beginnings
mm,
of the 70s, but it's very uncommon to see that a heavy metal band talks about occultism, darkness, this kind of stuff.
mm.
So, who came with first? Uh, for you, why the band not speak about the common things into the heavy metal? Why do you decide to lean down by the road of the occultism and darkness?
So you don't think it's kind of typical because when you go back, I mean, to the beginnings of heavy metal, like the first Black Sabbath albums, for example, but also yeah, there are also some yeah, but let's stay with Black Sabbath. A lot of Black Sabbath lyrics have occult themes, occult topics, and I think it's more like an yeah, development of the last years, or maybe since the 80s or everything that came after it, that heavy metal yeah, the heavy metal lyrics got more and more, and the music in general got, let's say, not more and more, but less sinister, less darker.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it's just if you ask about why are the lyrics maybe sometimes occult, so it's just this is just a back to the roots thing. And if you read between the lines, maybe the lyrics, it's not always or it's not the typical occult thing, but it's more like a personal story, personal experiences with whatever. Um, you have to do in life, you have to cope with in life, um, is packed into into a story with kind of slightly occult themes, but it's never like yeah, the typical occult story like you have it, for example, in yeah, whatever, in black metal lyrics or something like this. So it's never that way. It's more of a personal story wrapped up in yeah, in a little bit of occultism.
Mm. Yes, yes, but you're right about talking about the Black Sabbath mentioned this occult themes, and obviously in the first albums. But then when the new wave of new wave of British heavy metal appear, all bands
Mhm.
talks about other kind of things. It just
Mhm.
and we continue with this occult thing. Saxon,
Mhm.
Judas Priest, Iron Maiden talks about different
Mhm.
kind of things. It's not occultism
Mhm. Yeah,
most of
sure.
the time. Now, well, that's why I ask you. So continue
Mhm.
with the interview in these aspects. So for you, what is the biggest difference in? Well, as a reviewer, I found a lot of difference from the first album, Monolith Crossed. But it's normal for me because I'm the outsider of, and I'm not a composer of the band. But you
Mhm.
are into the band. You are composing the songs, lyrics, and details into this new Fatal. So for you, what is the biggest difference that exists in this new album compared to the first?
Yeah. I think the biggest difference is that we put a lot more emphasis on the song itself. It was not that we said, okay, this is the riff, and this is the verse, and this is the chorus, and okay, one, two, three, and now the solo, and it's ending. But we really put the emphasis on the point. that we wanted to create songs that we like to listen to, even if it was not our band, because I always think the best way to check if the song you're writing is a good song, if you just imagine, okay, this is not my song. I don't know the band. I don't know the guys who are playing this music. I am. If I would listen to this song, uh, would it be a song I would listen? I would keep listening to. I would put another. I would listen another time to, and another time, and another time, and yeah, we try to make songs we really want to listen to. And till today, I think yeah, on Fatal there are eight songs, eight full songs, one interlude, so nine. But all the eight songs I would also listen to if it wasn't if I was not in the band, you know. So to answer the question, um, yeah, we tried to put the emphasis on the point to make the songs even better, to make the melodies yeah, catchier, to put down a lot of riffs you maybe will not forget after one listening. Yeah, and just to compare it, not just to compare it to all the big heavy metal bands we like to listen to.
Okay. Mm, so these days it is a trend for many bands in many metal styles to speak in their natural language or their mother language. And what even more, many bands from Germany are releasing the last 4 years or 7 years are releasing their productions in German language. So did you ever think about making
No.
songs in German or something, or perhaps something optional, perhaps some songs in like IONC or Star Guides My Way, like the versions of in Deutsch.
No, we didn't think of it, and I can promise you it won't ever happen. Because I think German is yeah, it's a nice language to speak, but I'm not a big fan of German music, German language music. You know, there are maybe one one or two German artists I really like, but in general, I'm not a fan of German speaking music because I just think, you know, especially rock music and heavy metal music is an international kind of music, and as far as English is the international language, I think the only way to do this music right is to do it in English. So no German. I know maybe you're referring to I think Creator did something German, and Sodom already did something German in the 80s with Ausgebombt and so on. Yeah, sure, but yeah, we won't do anything in German.
Okay, okay. We're very close to end this interview, Rob. For this aspect, what kind of plans, band? Well, I saw that when you released Fatal, you were participating in a lot of festivals in Europe. But
Mhm.
now, and it's closer. We are very close to one. We are in 2024, just 3 days, 4 days to start the 2024. So, what are the future plans that the band has for 2024, perhaps release an EP, perhaps release more videos.
Mhm.
Oh, I saw that you will confirm for more festivals on the summertime, but perhaps you have
Mhm.
more news to share with us.
Yeah. Yeah, also as we are speaking right now, we are planning already the pre-production for the next album. So I think as January starts, we're gonna enter our rehearsal room, me and Alistair and Ricardo, and with our live sound guy Joshua, we will do some pre-production. Yeah, lay down some guitars, lay down some drums, and yeah, I think this process will yeah, will take some months. Yeah, and the goal for 24 is definitely to finish the pre-production, like maybe until July, something like this, so we can start recording in by the end of the year. Yeah, that's how the plan is. I don't know if it works out, because in between we will have a lot of touring stuff going on. In February we are on tour with Lucifer and Angel Witch, and for like I think 8 dates with Lucifer and Angel Witch, and then 12 or 13 other dates also with Lucifer, but then with Ethic. I think you also know Ethic. They are also from the same area here.
Yeah.
So in February we're gonna do like I think 22 gigs. Then in March 2 festivals, and then festival season begins. Then we are also playing 4 gigs with Blind Guardian in April in UK. And then festival season begins, and by the end of the year, I think in October, we will start another tour. It's also I think 2 or 3 weeks. It's still not sure with what band, but I think the starting point will be a gig in at the Full Metal Holiday in Mallorca in Spain, and from then we are going like 2 or 3 weeks on tour. Yeah, and then we will be here in November again. And if it works out like this, my plan works out that we can start then recording in November, December, so we can have the album out somewhere in 25. Yeah, this is how the plan's going, but I don't know if it works out, but hopefully.
Very busy year. Real,
Yeah, sure.
real very
Always
busy.
busy, always busy.
Nice, nice. Well, as I mentioned in the first question, talking about other kind of aspects, especially in the music or rock or metal in general, I always consider that rock or metal music is the music of people that may age but keep the spirit young. I listen to
Mhm,
the last records from classic bands, and after
mhm,
decades, many of them manage to keep the energy. But to be realistic,
mhm.
no, nothing lasts forever. In your opinion, what do you think is going to happen when the most classic bands that can perform at stadiums will be retired? Do you think there are younger bands that carry the torch in this aspect?
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is a very interesting question, because if we're being realistic, how old are the Maiden guys? I think at end of 60. I think Rob Halford is already like 72 or something like this. So maybe give them, yeah, if it works out fine, maybe 10 more years, and then we will have a lack of big heavy metal headliners in not just in Europe but all over the world. And also the Scorpions, they are maybe have 5 more years. They are, I think, also like 75, 74. So a lot of bands going to retire, and unfortunately, the other headliner bands are bands like Sabaton, and we all don't want in the same place where we like to listen to Maiden or Priest. We don't want Sabaton to play. So there's sure the lack of headliners, and then it may be time for other bands to take over that part. One band I can think of, for example, is Ghost. I know there are a lot of people who don't like Ghost, but I like Ghost. There may be a band who can fill those headliner slots. But after Ghost, I don't know. I don't know any other band which is at the moment big like that and can headline those big festivals. Of course, there are also Swedish bands like Enforcer, but they are still not not that big, or absolutely not as big as Ghost. So also they will not fill in. And yeah, then we will see if all the heavy metal fans who are listening to Priest and Maiden will listen to the younger bands, and if heavy metal will stay as big as it is, and now with the big headliners, or heavy metal will die. What I don't hope, but I think as long as there are people who like to listen to heavy metal, and as long as the promoters of the festivals give the chance to younger bands to fill in the headliner spots, that might turn out. Yeah.
Okay.
Who says that it's not possible? Like it was possible for a band like Sabaton, for example, to get to this headliner status with real heavy metal, yeah, and not with Sabaton heavy metal. Who says that it's not possible? If the music is good enough, maybe it works out. Yeah, but who knows?
Okay. Oh, and one of the last questions. As a heavy metal fan, as you are and me, we know that this world had many important names over the years. We found the fans are left, so the fans are left with bands that should have deserved more importance in the history of the style, or in general heavy metal, that whatever style that is into the heavy metal style. So for you, which forgotten bands should be have deserved greater recognition as and enter the same status as the big bands for you?
Oh, this is a hard question. The same status as a. Okay. So no, in general, I think that every band that has a big status has earned it, and every band who has not this big status, there are reasons for it. Because I think Maiden released, let's say, 8 or 9 really world-class albums. Yeah, Priest also, and then the next step, maybe one step down, is Saxon. Yeah, they maybe released 5 world-class albums. And then it always gets it's get less and less, and in the end, the two biggest bands, we already talked about it. Might be a Priest and a Maiden, and I think the reason for why they are so big is because they just keep on releasing great albums. Yeah, and I cannot think of other bands who also released in the heavy metal genre, who also released that amount of great albums. But maybe if I have to answer the question, maybe Saxon should be the same big player as Priest and Maiden. But there are a lot of other new wave of British heavy metal bands where I would say they are also good, but it has a reason why they are not so big.
Okay. Well, Ralph, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. Oh, as I mentioned,
Definitely.
As I mentioned, love the last album, really amazing one.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Personal sound with the Night Eternal, that's difficult in heavy metal now. It's very, very difficult for the heavy metal, but you got it. So congratulations on
Thank you,
it.
man.
Perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and Metallica followers?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to add that we've not been there yet, but I'm 100% sure within the next few years we're gonna visit the Latin American countries, and we are very much looking forward, to play some shows with you, because we heard the heavy metal crowd in Latin American countries are very different than European, are very much crazy maniacs, and that's why we're looking forward to this experience in the next years.